Alright, here we go. This is going to be a video focused on PSA grading. People that watch the site know that a lot of my content does center around that, grading, and it's not for everybody, but I had a viewer ask me where he could reach me, and he sent me a private email, and then wrote some questions down. Basically, he's looking to send a PSA. He just wants some advice on basically how to do it, the steps you need to take, and I'll tell you right now, the first step that any collector needs to take if you want to send a PSA. This is to the best of my knowledge. Sign up for the Collectors Club, and there's 3 different levels. There's platinum, gold, and I think silver, but basically 3 tiers, so 1, 2, and 3. And with each tier you get free submission. So I think it goes 5, 10, and 15. Don't quote me on that. I always do the platinum because you get 15 free submissions of the regular. Which if you add it together, you're getting a lot of value. I think close to $300 or $250. And then the platinum is about $179. So if you're gonna grade, more than once, it's definitely worth it, and you get access to all of the monthly specials, and that's where you're going to get your value from PSA, getting your bulk orders, sending in 50 card orders, 100, 200, and that. So I'm going to start with the questions. So he said, "Hey man, I just wanted to say your videos are super informative and fun to watch. I had a few questions about the process and steps to take when submitting to PSA/Beckett. I've never done this before and thought it would give it a shot. Have pristine cards that should grade well." Okay. Question 1. When submitting, how do I know what pay schedule I'll be on? I have submitted the copy of the pay schedule from the PSA website. I would assume I am in the re-encapsulation of PSA graded card with declared value under 500,000, but I am not sure. No, that is not what you would be. When you get a card re-encapsulated, you're basically getting a new holder. I think that would be the reholder, and that's where you just basically say you have a cracked PSA card. Like say, this is just an example, but say this card, there's a crack on the back and you wanted it in a slab that is not cracked. And the fee for that right now is $7,000 for cards with declared values. It's under $2,000 or $5,000. So that would not be where you're at. If you were just going to submit a card with a value under 500 and you weren't going to use any of the monthly specials, the regular service is actually bumped up to 18. This is the most recent form. I don't use these anymore. I do all my stuff through the online submission center just because it's a little quicker, and my handwriting's not that great. But I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory if you're going to use these sheets, and you kind of do the same thing through the online center. But you just kind of start off with what you're doing. Grading is, obviously getting a grade on your card. Review would be, let me find a card that's not a 10. Okay, this card. This is a perfect card to show. Say you take a look at this card and you're like, oh man, this card looks better than an 8 to me. I want to send it back to them and see if it can get bumped up to 8.5 or 9. Now on that you would say, bump it to 8.5 or 9, and if it's not, keep it in the slab it's in and charge me the fee. That would be a review. Personally, I have a lot of PSA 9s that I'd like to send in and try to get bumped to 10s. I think the odds of that actually happening are pretty low. I think when they make their decision, they're pretty biased in it. And even if your card is a 10 or it looks perfect, I don't think they're going to change it. I mean, maybe 1 out of 30, but I don't know. I don't think it's worth your money or time. Crossover is when you have a card, say you have a Beckett card, you want to cross it over to PSA, you just basically put down the certification number right there of the older company and the minimum grade. So if you have a 9.5 and you won't take lower than a PSA 9, you just write down 9 right there and write down the value. Everything's pretty self-explanatory. But the one thing with PSA is they're real big on declared values. So Beckett doesn't do this, so you can send all your Beckett stuff together, which is actually, that's an advantage to Beckett. Send a $1,000 card, send a $5 card, all in the same order. But I mean, if you send with PSA and you have a $300 card, you want to say the value is $50, I guess you can do it that way. I was just trying to keep it somewhat honest, based on the sold values on eBay. But like if you have a really expensive card, 5,000, anything 5,000 to 9,000 or 10,000, you have to do the walkthrough service, which it ships out that same day, and anything over 10,000 has to be premium, which is $700. So it's pretty crazy, the prices that they put on some of these services. I mean, really, really expensive. But that's just what it costs. That's why PSA, I think, cards sell for so much. So we're getting off topic. Let's get to the next question. I think I answered that one pretty good. Is there a minimum or maximum to get a deal on the amount of submissions I should make? Each month, PSA will, bottom of their website, look for monthly specials, and they'll kind of state, there's usually like 4 or 5, and they'll say, $10 a card, valued under $250, no minimum quantity required. So you could send in 5 cards and get the deal. Some months it'll be 25 or more, 50 or more. So just read the fine print on those, and you'll see what you need to send in to get the deal. 3, how do you send your cards to PSA? What do you use to mail them? What cases do you send them in? How do you package the box? Basically, can you show me how to prep the cards packaging before shipping? Yeah, I can do that real quick for you. A lot of people have seen kind of how I do it, but I'll do it real quick. I probably have other videos in the past, because I've had questions about grading for many times on my site. So I started grading in 2010, and I've sent thousands and thousands of cards off now. But the way I used to do it was like this. I'd get my card, and I would use these, what are they called, card savers or something. I put them in these. They do not move in these. They're kind of flimsy, but basically you take cardboard and put it around it. So you get a stack of cards. I wish I had some cardboard to show you this real quick. Here, I'll tear some up. This is just like a demo. And obviously you would want cardboard that's as big as your card, so you'd want it to come down to here. And then on the back, do the same thing. So you would get your stack of cards. We'll just say this is your stack right here. And you just go like this. Get it like, top to bottom. Get it secured. Tape around it. Doesn't matter the tape really. I like painter's tape just because they can take it off easily. But that's how I do it. That's how I used to do it, and I do it the exact same way now. I just went to top loaders. These are the same price for me as those. They're a little bit more sturdy, but the one thing the step you need to take if you're going to do it this way is put a piece of tape at the top and just pinch right here, fold. So this is quick work for PSA too. If they have a knife or blade, or you can just take your nail on this type of tape and it pops right off. But that'll keep the card from moving around, because cards do move when they ship. So that's how I do it now, and I do the same process. I'm pretty weird about my shipping. I think I take extra steps, and that's how I ship cards if you buy from me. I like do this with a stack of 25 or 30, then I tape it, and then I store it in the box. Not throw it, but I set it in the box. I think that's it. I just like to take a little extra time to make sure the cards get there without bending them. You're spending a lot of money on grading. You might as well give yourself the best chance of getting the grade you want to attain. I watched the video on how to clean and prep cards for PSA, but how do I know if my card is good enough to possibly grade a 10? Is there any major red flags I should look out for aside from the obvious damages, corners, chipping, scratches, bends, etc.? PSA and Beckett have different standards, and what I've come to learn from PSA and Beckett is PSA is the stricter grader. A lot of Beckett 9 mints are PSA 8s, and that's just because the difference between a PSA 9 and a PSA 10 is very minor. And a lot of people don't know that, but it could be one little white spot on a corner or one little surface problem. They're really close, 9s and 10s. I have a lot of 9s that look really, really good. So, let's just get a card out. Let's take a look at a couple. This is a Griffin 94 SP. The main things obviously you're looking at is centering, and a card like this, the centering is kind of tough to see because there's one side that has a border and one side that doesn't, and the back kind of the same thing. But the first time I look at it, and I have a lamp. I did a video on how I look my cards over, and I have a lamp that shines down, and I take the card like this and kind of move it like that to look for surface scratches. Just kind of move it like that. And something else I'll do is just like for chrome cards especially. When you're handling your chrome cards, don't go like this and get your hands all over them. Hold them like that, and then just wipe the surface down like that, and then put them into their sleeve like that. Don't get your hands all over them. That's where you get prints, and they'll knock you on surface. So for a card like this is an 8. You're looking at centering, you're looking at corners, edges, I mean all the basics, and PSA places a great deal on overall eye appeal. So if the front looks fantastic and there's a little surface problem on the back, they might still give you a 10. That's just the kind of way, that's how they do it. Card like this that I showed a little bit earlier, you can't see it as good on this camera, but there's white chipping in the top right. And anytime with PSA, if you have like more than 1 or 2 chips or problems, I don't think you're not going to get a 9. And that's just my opinion from what I've seen from all the cards that I've sent in. So just basically take a look at your card. I would suggest if you're going to send in a lot, buying a lamp and doing it that way. It's saved me so many cards where I thought they looked like 10s, and I see something like on white cards, dents and stuff. So basically just exactly what you said, the basics. And if you kind of have to get an eye for it, and then when you kind of know what is a 10 and what isn't, then you'll kind of get used to when you get your cards back. Okay, yeah, that's what I expected. So that's that question. When I'm ready to submit, how do I actually pay PSA? Is it via the website? I haven't researched this. How long does it usually get to take it back? Do they provide tracking? They do provide tracking, but the day that they scan your order in is not the day that your order starts to process. And the reason for this is they're pretty busy. So you could send an order in, and they could hold it for 2 weeks, and then it could go into the system. That's when your business days start. So it can take a while. I've had bulk orders that have taken 2 weeks. I've had bulk orders that have taken 3 to 5 months. I mean, it just depends on how busy they are, and they state that on their website. So, and the way you pay them, and it's just like this through the online submission. You can send a check, but for that you just put the check number and enclose payment, or you can do credit card, and you type it in on the website, and obviously you write it here. Something big that I think people have forgotten, at the bottom of this you have to sign it or they won't process it. They'll just send your cards back, so make sure to sign it at the bottom right here. And then the great thing about the online submission center is that will add up the declared value of all your orders, and they'll kind of give you a number, and then you just go to this sheet and say you sent in 23 cards and they valued at $3,000. You just go 9 to 25, 1,000 to 5,000, and you go to 35, and that is what you owe in shipping. So just kind of do a little math on that one. Fill out your submission form, put your your number and everything. But that's how you pay, and they will provide tracking. They'll send you an email to the email address you have registered with them when your order ships, and you can see all the grades then. I don't ever do it that way. I figure if I wait 3 months, why should I see the grades on the website when I can physically take the cards out and look at the holders? And then finally, thanks for helping me out. I appreciate it. The fact you reached out via Twitter, it was really cool you did that. Take care and keep posting awesome videos. Yeah. Thanks, man. One final tip, guys, and this will expedite your orders to PSA a little bit faster. A lot of people don't know about this. They sent me an email about it one time. But on the outside of your package, whatever service level you picked, write that 5-10 times on the outside of your package. So say you did the regular walkthrough. So on each corner of your package, just put this a few times. Just put that on your package. And that lets them know that 10 business days is how long it takes. So they sort them into the amount of business days each order goes. So that'll speed your orders up. That's just a random tip that I picked up. So that's it, guys. Thanks a lot.